Hello and welcome to the Reetin Entertainment Podcast, episode 403 for June 11th, 2023. My name is Nathan Reetin Spruth. This week we are joined by Andrew Roa McFain.
Meow.
Meow. And we are joined by Connor, the cyberpunk monk Besh.
Now, do I look like a kitty cat?
No, I don't think you do. And you also don't have a cat that purrs into the microphone.
Meow.
I have a cat that doesn't purr, she just meows really loudly for attention.
She just throws everything off of your desk.
Yes. Of course, I am your host, Nathan Reetin Spruth. We have kind of a big... there was a lot of stuff that happened this week that we want to talk about. In fact, there were a few stories that I wanted to talk about, but I was like, we can't do that. Because we already have things that we know we're going to talk about. So, very quickly, let's run through the games that we played this week. Start with Cyberpunk Monk since he's unmuted.
Yep. Really quickly, I played a little bit of Doom, mostly because I was just experimenting with games on the Steam Deck.
Question, wait, let's back up here. What Doom?
Not Doom Eternal, because I don't own that one yet, but like the original, not original Doom, but like the original remake, the one that came out like 2016 or something like that.
Yeah, it's called...
God, that's confusing.
It's called Doom 2016, is how people refer to it.
Yes, Doom 2016. I was just mostly like curious to see how it ran on Steam Deck. I figured because it's Vulkan, it'd be pretty smooth, and it was. But I just don't like the flow of that game, so I uninstalled it already. We played some Castle Crashers, you and I. I'll let you talk about that. Played some Battlefield. That's been fun. They have secrets in these games, like things you could do that trigger like specific events. I recently discovered with the most recent update that they put those back in the game. So I've been having a blast, like having missiles explode on the map, and like suddenly you can't get to the other side of the map anymore without an airplane. That's where Battlefield shines, and I'm glad that they're making the opportunity to do stuff like that happen again.
And how does that run on the Steam Deck?
I haven't tried it on the Steam Deck yet. I don't think that's quite the mobile game experience I'm looking for.
Just use the trackpad as your mouse.
The mobile game that I have been playing, I was watching a buddy of mine play Diablo 4, and a couple of my coworkers were talking about Diablo 4, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to play Warhammer 40,000 Inquisitor Martyr, which is basically Diablo in the Warhammer universe. Mostly because it's a game that I own but hadn't really played before, and it runs surprisingly well on the Steam Deck. But if you know Diablo, yeah, it's Diablo. It's Diablo with a cover system.
I remember the first time I played Diablo was on the original PlayStation.
The penultimate experience.
That is... Apparently, that's the version that all the remakes or remasters of Diablo are based off the PlayStation version because they lost all of the code for the PC version.
That is a genuine Blizzard moment right there. That sounds like of all the things that could have happened, that's one of the most Blizzard things.
That just sounds like a 90s gaming moment because they did the same thing with Final Fantasy games. Is they're like, oh, we deleted that source code. We didn't need that, right?
It was eating up like 20 kilobytes on the server.
Yeah.
So this a little bit of a side tangent, but it'll be short. You guys know the Lego Island game? Apparently the masters to the music of that game are lost to the sea.
That's sad.
It's how does that happen?
Well,
anyways, to keep it short, I also finally beat Shenmue 2, which, boy, by the end of that game was I ready to be done with it. It's a lot of walking through the woods. Oh no, there's a landslide. Let's take a 40-minute detour.
Those last 2 hours is just that's the only thing I really remember about Shenmue 2 was that last section where you're just walking up a mountain and you're like, and I'm like, man, I hate hiking in real life.
It gives you a good opportunity to talk to Shenhua, which is this girl that you literally met like 2 hours prior, and proceed to each tell each other your entire life stories.
That's
how you... This could have been a cutscene. Like the entire 2 hours of the game could have just been a cutscene.
That's how you do exposition and gameplay.
Yes, I guess. But doing it with the funky / awful English voice acting is... It's secretly a guilty pleasure of mine. I can't complain about it too much. I actually love listening to it. Like, in the sense that it makes me laugh. I love listening to it.
Yes, it is. It is great. I love it as well.
And
Is
that's all
there
I want to
anything
talk
else?
about.
Okay.
Yep. Someone else.
Aroa,
I've been
stop
playing.
trying to fix your website, and we'll talk about games.
I'm dealing more with this kitty cat right now.
Stop trying to fix the
Uh,
kitty cat.
but I've been playing a lot of Diablo. Diablo and then Zelda. Diablo 4 it's good. I think it's
That's
all
good.
right. I'd probably give it like a 6 right now.
Does it run
Um,
well?
Oh, it runs fantastically.
Oh, good.
Like impressive how it generally has like a better frame rate than WoW, in spite of looking substantially better. Uh, my main problem is that like it it maybe it's just because I'm playing as a necromancer, but I feel like I can't play the game the way that it's supposed to be played. Uh, I don't know how to describe it. It's like I know what I'm supposed to be doing. I know what the game wants me to do. I just don't think that a human is capable of doing these things.
Interesting.
And on top of that, like there seems to be maybe I'm just not remembering Diablo 3 very well, but I feel like in Diablo 3 you didn't have just like walls of enemies coming at you constantly so that you barely have any time to breathe in between encounters. Uh but yeah, I'm not far enough into it. Like I only barely have uh all my skill slots filled up, which I also don't like the skill system. I don't like that again you have I think it's 6. You have like 6 slots and it just feels like I need more abilities. I assume that they restrict you so that you can come up with interesting builds, but it doesn't feel all that great. I don't know. There's just various elements that feel like they could have used a little more time in the oven. But
There's things. There's something to be said about a limited skill set like that. I think for some games I would prefer to have a limited skill set just because like I'm thinking the stark difference between Diablo 4 you're talking about where you only have 6 skills and like World of Warcraft where people will have just their entire screen filled up with things that they can press. And I don't know. I think
yeah,
it would be I think it's nice to have some streamlined content in there.
yeah, it would be impossible, like actually impossible to play if you had access to every single skill, because it's just there'd be too many options at any given moment. But yeah, I do think I don't know. Maybe it'll get better because I think even the developers have said you have to finish the entire storyline and then like the game starts. So maybe I just have to get through that, and then I'll understand things. Also, I hate that it has a cash shop. I really, 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 really hate that it has a cash shop. It's really stupid. It's really stupid that I go into the fucking pause menu or even just like my inventory. Well, not the inventory, but the map, and then there's a little store tab up at the top. I load into the game, and it's like, do you want to start the game or do you want to look at the store?
You want
You
to
want
look
to
at
buy
the
some
store.
platinum?
You want
You
to look at the
want to buy
store.
some platinum currency?
I
It's
love
fucking
it.
dumb.
I love it. I love that they're turning Diablo into Raid Shadow Legends. It's pretty great. This podcast we will never be brought by Raid Shadow Legends if they listen to any of our podcasts. Anyway,
You say never as if they showed up and were like, "Hey, we'll give you like $100 to say you like the game."
they
You
do
think.
ridiculous like amounts of money. They'll be like, we'll offer you like $8,000 to like smaller YouTubers.
Yeah, I'll
And
take that.
and that's why so many take it like, yeah, they're getting they only have like 100,000 subs, which is a lot. That's a lot of subs. But they'll have like a 50 to 100,000 subs and Raid Shadow Legends will be like, "Hey, we'll give you $8,000 to do like 3 ads and or a month of ads." And the streamers like or the YouTubers like, "Yeah, I'll do that." I'll take that $8,000. So that's why. So if they emailed me and told me that, maybe, I don't know. We're gonna move on. I'm gonna talk about the games I played. The first game, my friends and I played Redfall, and we beat the game, and it is not finished. It is just like the storyline, like it's there, like all of that stuff is finished, but the servers aren't finished. The gameplay is not finished. We kept having disconnects, and it's one of those games where if it disconnects, you get like 2 minutes where you're like, what the fuck is going on? Like you'll shoot at an enemy and they'll just continue walking forward, and you're like, it's disconnecting. Great. So that's always fun. But my friends and I, we did beat the game. There is an opening definitely for DLC, but I don't know if they're gonna do any of that. The second game I played that I beat this week was Shadowrun Returns. Good game. Only 12 to 13 hours, which is it's nice. It's nice to have just like a short experience. I do feel that like the hacking sections, I know that they had to have the hacking sections be
Gamified. I know
they
what
had
you're
to be gamified. Like they're not it's not like the hacking in actual Shadowrun where it's like, all right, we're going to stop the game for 45 minutes while
everyone else
lockdown...
is gonna go get pizza. Lockdown needs to hack the mainframe.
Yeah, exactly. And so they made it more just the combat, but you're in cyberspace, and that's fine. I know that they had to do that. It was fun. You'd also like there's with it being such a short game, you only get the chance to do like 4 or 5 hacking sections in general. You don't get a lot of hacking sections. It doesn't feel to me like you're able to utilize your skills as much as you can in like a Skyrim or something, right? Where you have hundreds of hours of gameplay that you could do. But that being said, it was fun.
I'd compare it very similar to the Grand Theft Auto 3 games, where 3 is a fine game in its own, but Vice City and, eventually San Andreas is where it really starts to shine.
Yeah, and same thing. We've got Dragonfall and then Hong Kong are the two not expansions, but the 2 additional games in the Shadowrun Return series, and I'll probably play through those because again they're probably around 12 to 15 hours, so I'll probably play through those this year.
Each of them are fun. I did want to ask, I know we got to hurry up here. What did you think about the story of it?
Oh, I thought it was really good. I liked it a lot. I was mad at my friend at the end. It's like a 10-year-old game, so I can spoil it. Sam doesn't give you the money he owes you. That's very rude. It's very,
You're gonna have
very
to get
rude.
your soy chips somewhere else.
I did end up getting, like, at the end of the game, you help out a dragon. I think it's a dragon. You help out a higher up, and he's like, hey, you have 3 options. Do you want to work for me? Do you want to go do something else? Or do you just want money? And I'm like, yeah, just give me the money.
Money!
Give me the $100,000. I'm out. See ya. So I ended up getting $100,000 anyway. But then I was like, I could get another $100,000. It doesn't matter. The game ends. It's not like you're going to be able to use the money. But anyway, the third game I played. So I beat that. Monday was Redfall. Tuesday and Wednesday I played Shadowrun Returns. Thursday I played Lies of P, the demo that's on Steam. And I was talking to Connor about it. It's not a game that I really like. Like I can appreciate the games.
You're not really a Souls kind of person.
It's a Souls-like game. But here's the thing. There's a demo on Steam, and it was free for me to play. So I just gave it a shot. And it's good. It's good. I did not hate my time with it. There are sections and monsters that I was like, God, I just can't beat this. Because it is a Souls-like, so you're kind of bashing your head into a wall until you get through it. That being said, to give credit where credit is due, I had it running at 1440p, like over 100 frames a second the entire time. So it was actually well optimized. I could actually play it, which is sad to say, but a difficult thing to have happen in 2023. All the new games that are coming out run like shit. All of them, except for apparently Diablo 4. And it was fine. It was fine. If you want to play the demo is about 3 to 4 hours long. 7 hours if you're like me and you're really bad at Souls-like games, and it's fine. It's fine. You get the first 2 chapters, I think, and then it got delayed. But we'll talk about that later. I think maybe. And the last game, Connor and I played some Castle Crashers.
Can you believe this motherfucker never played Castle Crashers before?
I just never did. I played Halo like a normal person on my Xbox. But it was fun. I had fun with it. It's a little difficult in certain sections. And I'm a little sad because I was hoping to get 3 video games beaten this week.
We were pretty close. We honestly, if we come back to it, we will beat it in one more sitting.
Right. And that's the problem is I like to stream for multiple hours, and so we would just have to sit there without streaming because I'm not going to start up a stream for it to be like half an hour long.
Well, that'd be perfect actually. You start a stream, we finish it, and then I'm a sleepy boy and I have to go to bed early. That's when you have your backup game planned. I'm just saying, if you got like an ace in the hole one day and you need a quickie, keep that in your back pocket.
Okay, I will do that. But at Castle Crashers, it was fun. It's a side-scrolling platformer. Not really a platformer. A side-scrolling beat-em-up.
It's a beat 'em up, yeah.
Yeah. And it was enjoyable. But we are going to move on. We're going to talk about some news stories. We got way too many of them. We have talked about the Microsoft Activision acquisition that is potentially happening. A bunch of countries have said yes. The European Union, which consists of a bunch of countries, and China, and a whole lot. But the UK decided, no, we are not going to allow this acquisition to happen. And so there are reports that apparently they listened to the Reetin Entertainment podcast, and they said, this is from Massively Overpowered. It says, Microsoft is reportedly considering pulling Activision out of the UK market over regulatory block. So they're doing what I said they should do if the United States approves it and the United Kingdom does not approve it, which is Microsoft should just flex their muscle. And I don't like it, right? I don't like that corporations can kind of do this, but if I were a corporation, I'd probably do it and just say, hey, I know you don't want this to happen, but it's going to happen. So you can either go along with it, or we're just not going to sell our games in the UK, and you're going to get, hey, all that tax revenue you wanted, it's not going to be there anymore. Yeah. So thank you, Microsoft, for listening to the podcast. Nobody else does.
We have the
It's
best
true.
ideas.
We do have some good ideas, but I can't be the only person who thought of this. I'm sure their lawyers thought of this very quickly. And, with the EU and China saying, yes, it's okay, those are 2 massive markets for Microsoft or anybody. And I would imagine the UK is just going to buckle after a certain amount of time, especially if Microsoft says, hey, we are going to pull out of the UK if you don't just approve it. It sucks that corporations have the ability to do that, but that's the world we live in. We are going to move on very quickly. Sorry about this. We have there were 3 showcases that we're talking about today, and then there was another showcase we missed. Yeah, there was
too much. Too many showcases. We'll catch it next time. Maybe.
So Twitter sucks now. I don't know if anybody knows this. It has turned into a fucking right-wing jerk-off party. I didn't know a better way to say that.
They call it a circle jerk, Nathan.
Circle jerk.
A jerk-off party. That's a new one.
Anyway, it is, because the only people that buy Twitter Blue are right-wing Elon Musk simps. And
that's not true. Plenty of other stupid people buy Twitter Blue.
I don't.
Corporate HR departments.
Yeah, the most I see is right-wing. Let's say 90% right-wing.
That's because those are
simps.
the people you interact with, you idiot. You've ruined your algorithm.
Probably. That might be it, too. But
It does suck. Let's not pull away from the main article here.
It does suck.
Twitter sucks ass.
And their ad revenue, even though they get all those people buying Twitter Blue, and by all those people I mean not very many people buying Twitter Blue, their ad sales are down 59%. So they are still losing their ass on the deal.
Go figure that no one wants to advertise on a platform that has become even more of a shitty little echo chamber than ever.
Yeah.
And it's a completely toxic brand to associate yourself with in the first place because it's being run by a moron.
It is.
I don't know, like I don't have these numbers in front of me. I am curious to see what the percentage of the user fall off has been since the shithead has taken over.
I was like 2 seconds away from just deleting my account the other day. I was just like, man, I hate that. But then the only reason I still have it is there are certain people who I like that the only interactions I have with them are on Twitter.
Like the Clinton's Core Classics, Rise of the Rune Lords First Edition actual play Twitter account.
Exactly.
The only place I update social media on anymore.
Yeah, it says, this is from Ars Technica. It says, while Elon Musk bought Twitter for $44 billion, he told employees in March its value was $20 billion. Can you imagine losing $22 billion?
That's an amount that I can't actually imagine.
Yeah.
Let alone imagine losing.
And still being the richest person in the world. Or wealthiest person in the world.
That's the dumbest part.
Yeah, it's really, really, really bad. It says, continuing on with this, it says Musk set a goal of making half of Twitter's revenue subscription-based. But it's revamped
I don't think
Twitter.
they're making that.
No, his revamped Twitter Blue subscription service got off to a slow start, as the New York Times report said. Reversing the deadline in advertising is crucial because ads have long made up 90% of the company's revenue. So I guess it is possible that they will get to 50% of the revenue being subscription based because they're losing so many ad sales.
Otherwise, their revenue will drop so much that it'll just become 50% of their revenue.
Exactly. Exactly.
Task failed successfully.
Yes, it's awful. Just if you don't have a Twitter yet, I would suggest don't. just stay away.
Because it's really only a matter of time before he's like, all right, we're just putting all of our user data up for auction.
I'm just wondering how long it takes before he just shit cans it, like sells it to another company for like $10 billion and loses $30 billion off of it. I'm sure there are contracts where he has to keep it active for, X number of years before he can do something like that.
I don't see him selling it to anyone else. I really don't.
Yeah.
I think he has way too much pride, and I also think that him owning a major communications platform is too important to him.
Yeah, that is true. I could see that his arrogance and narcissism could very well just be like, no, I'm going to keep Twitter around even if I'm losing money.
Arrogance.
We should just send him to Mars and we'll say, oh yeah, we're coming with. We're going to build a utopia. And it's just him.
Okay.
Problem solved.
Perfect. It'll be like The Martian or whatever it is. What's the one where that guy is stuck on Mars?
Interstellar. I think that's the one you're talking about.
Yeah, that's the one. I don't think that's the one. Running Man. There we go.
If anyone listened to this podcast, they would be screaming at their speakers right now.
Because we have no idea. We don't watch movies. Okay. Moving on to the next story. Again, not spending a ton of time on these stories. Twitch put an announcement. I didn't even see it. It's the one day of the week that I drive to the office and I do things in the office is Tuesdays. And that's when I don't get all the updates from the social medias and stuff. And apparently Twitch did something where they were talking about their ads and making changes with the ads. Everyone got upset, and by the time I got home, Twitch was like, "Nah, we're kidding, bro. We were just joshing you. It's fine."
This is just one big overreaction.
Yeah, it says here, this is from Destructoid. It says in a recent post on the site, Twitch announced it would be changing the type of branded content that broadcasters would be able to have on their channel. The changes indicate that streams will no longer be allowed to insert burned-in display video or audio ads. This basically refers to any advertisement that is pre-recorded sponsorship, and also limits the on-stream logos to just 3% of the total screen. So basically, let's say Aroa wanted to sponsor his website on my stream, and I had a button that I could press that would play like, hey, go to Aroa.website and follow us everywhere. I also didn't ask where we could find each other, but we're not going to do that. It's Aroa.website.
No one cares.
Yeah, so I could have a pre-recorded button that would say that. That would be not allowed. And then also, sometimes, advertisers, like, let's just continue on with the trend. Say Aroa sent me over a PNG and was like, hey, I want 5% or 10% or the top banner to be this. I will pay you X amount of dollars to have my banner on your stream. That is limited to just 3% of the total screen size. Again, they reversed this policy immediately.
That's like the watermark that used to, I don't know if it still is, but it used to be on like every TV channel in the bottom right corner, just to remind you that you're watching Cartoon Network.
Or they do it on YouTube too now. Like they have little...
Oh yeah, they do. I just kind of, I don't even see it.
Yeah.
I've always figured it was like if somebody's ripping your content from a screen grab, it's so you can know where it's from.
It
I
is.
didn't really put too much thought into it.
But they reversed it. It says, in response to this, Twitch has posted an apologetic message on its Twitter account. The first tweet admits that the new branded content policy was overly broad, while one below it says the company did not intend to limit streamers' ability to enter into direct relationship with sponsors. By alluding to the fact that streamers would not be able to display burned-in third-party ads, many felt the platform was saying that only Twitch-approved advertisements would be permitted.
They were. That is what they were saying. This is bullshit.
Yeah, because there are ads that you can run. I never do it. When you start up your stream, they're like, if somebody comes into my stream, they will see an ad, but I can't turn that off, I don't think.
Nope.
And then you can also play ads at specific times. You could choose when to play ads that are Twitch specific ads. These are for ads that in addition to those ads. I have turned off, for a while, and by a while I mean like 2 days, I had it so that the ads would run after an hour and something of stream time. That way there would be about 2 or 3 ads per stream that people would see while I was playing games, to try to boost any little bit of revenue I might be getting off of the people who watch me. But somebody, one of the main people who watches me, texted me and told me that every time the ad would play, it would mess up their stream and they would have to reload. And I was like, you know what? It's affecting the user, so I'm going to disable this feature. And by user, I mean the only person who watches me. So
it's affecting all of your user or all of your viewer.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know. Apparently they reversed this. It says, after the apology, the damage appears to have already been done. Such content creators as Jacksepticeye have criticized the site for not talking to streamers in this instance. Others still have threatened to switch to alternatives such as YouTube and Kick. I don't know. Again, I'm not switching. I can't justify switching at this point.
I think most people, especially those in your situation, are just streaming on both. They're just doing YouTube and Twitch simultaneously.
I just don't have the bandwidth to do that. Like, I do. I could make it happen, but I don't care. I'm not gonna. How many viewers am I gonna get on YouTube as opposed to Twitch? Not very many.
Yeah,
And then there's
Uh,
Kick, and Kick, I'm not
That's for people younger than us.
I'm not
where the
sold
Zoom-
on
We're,
Kick.
we're too old for Kick.
Yeah. And it's all with gambling too.
Is it?
That was the whole reason why they created Kick, was because Twitch started limiting gambling streams. And so did I say that right? Twitch started limiting gambling streams.
You
So
got it.
Kick came about. Okay. I thought I might have said Kick limited, but no. And this means that I'm probably not going to go to Kick. I just want AV1. Why can't I stream in AV1 on Twitch? That's all I want. I bought an Intel graphics card. Come on. Just let me do it.
Probably because most endpoint devices don't have an AV1 hardware decoder.
YouTube can do it.
YouTube can do it.
No,
but
no.
They also probably have way better server-side transcoding capabilities.
They probably do. You are probably correct in that. But yes, YouTube has the ability to do AV1 streaming now. But you have to go through OBS, and I don't use OBS. I would have to set up. I would have to take 45
You'd have to switch
minutes.
to the application that doesn't suck monkey fuck.
I'm already on XSplit. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh.
We are going to move on and talk about what happened at the Summer Game Fest. There wasn't a lot. To talk about. Do either of you have anything from this list from Destructoid that you would like to talk about? Only one thing, please.
And I need to review the list. Let me see.
Yeah, I haven't looked at anything.
You didn't watch the whole thing? Okay. Let's see. The ones that are sticking out.
I just wasn't expecting it to be like, and you start talking, motherfuckers.
Well,
okay,
yeah.
if I had to choose just one of them,
well, let me
know.
while you look, I will just talk about something. Dead by Daylight, there was some Nick Cage footage. Apparently Nick Cage is going to just be in the game.
Yeah, did I not mention that?
I think
At
you
any point?
did. I think you did, but I thought it was like a fever dream. Like, why would they just? Is
Yeah.
he a bad guy? Is he a villain?
No, he's a playable survivor character. He's just gonna be there
Okay.
as himself.
Another one
I'll-
that's standing out to me is Spider-Man 2 will release October 20th
on PC. No,
on
PS5.
PS5.
I mean.
Yeah.
And on PC in like a year from now, I assume.
Probably a longer than that, I would imagine.
Probably. I'm gonna bring up Alan Wake 2. You guys know the Last of Us?
Yes.
It's that now.
Oh,
I forgot what I wanted to talk about, but I
Makes me
remember
sad.
now.
I know what Aroa's gonna talk about. Do you need me to?
oh,
help
you think I'm gonna talk about Sonic Superstars? You
I
think
do
I'm
think you're gonna
excited
talk
about
about
Sonic
that.
Superstars?
I do think you're excited about Sonic Superstars. Am I right?
No,
Oh, what? You all right? You
I'm-
feeling okay, buddy?
I'm like cautiously optimistic. Like I hope that it's good, but I'm not a classic Sonic guy. I'm not like I
Oh.
got Sonic Mania because I was like, hey, this is pretty cool. I love the fact that this is being made by like fans who were brought in by Sega to work on a game. And it was pretty good, but like it feels, I don't know. It feels like they're trying to take the like new Super Mario Brothers approach with Sonic, and I don't entirely understand how that is going to work. And then I'm not gonna lie, they kind of annoyed me by making Amy's default skin the Sonic CD design, because I'm not a Sonic CD pleb. All right, yeah, I said it.
But it's so good.
All the fucking Sonic fans are like, "Ooh, Sonic CD is the best Sonic game. It's the best classic Sonic game ever." No, I don't think so. I'm a Sonic 3 and Knuckles guy, and I don't like Amy's design in Sonic CD. I like her Sonic Adventure design. So yeah, fuck you guys. Yeah, like I hope it's good. Of course I do. I hope it has a really cool soundtrack, because that'll probably be what I experience more than the actual game itself.
Probably you're
Well,
gonna get it on
luckily-
vinyl.
It'll probably be available on vinyl.
I mean,
Luckily,
wouldn't
between
be the
you,
first one.
me, and Nathan, we won't need to have Amy playing with us.
Yes. We also another one I wanted to talk about was briefly. Did you guys watch the Twisted Metal TV clip that they?
Yes.
they had?
I watched Charlie's reaction to it, and was Charlie as in critical / Penguins Zero.
Uh-huh.
And I just don't understand.
It was why didn't they show any vehicle combat?
Why is it funny? Trying to be funny.
To be fair to that part in your question is the Twisted Metal games have always had a twisted sense of humor.
Shut up. I'm leaving.
Ooh.
He left. Good. But they have had they've had humor in the games. If you actually pay attention to the stories, there's always been a bit of humor in them. So
Not like
that. Not like that necessarily. But I can see what they're going for. That being said,
if they were basing it specifically off the first game, maybe. But they're not.
all of the games have had some bit of humor in them.
Not to that degree. Like
No.
you have maybe some like really dark humor here and there, but like
What was it? Twisted
I don't
Metal
know.
Head On, I think.
Head On was like that was like part of the experiment that they did with like Small Brawl.
That's the
And
one I was
shit.
thinking of. Small Brawl. That one had a very unique sense of humor too.
Small Brawl was fucking children. It was like actual children.
Right. But I thought
All the others have a character who is in a machine where his feet are being ground down by the asphalt underneath of him because he's hanging between two giant tires.
Yeah, that's good.
And half the time he was forced into it by his father, and half the time he's in it because he is trying to find out who murdered his wife.
I understand. I know. But I was just saying that
Also,
that the
Twisted
games
Metal
do have
Black is the best game in the entire series. They should have just done a thing with that.
and it's all but then it's just all in Sweet Tooth's head. That's the whole thing of Twisted Metal Black is that's all happening in his head.
That's whatever.
It's true.
Sure. It
Anyway,
would have been fine. It would have been just fine. Or they could have done the reboot game. The reboot game was pretty fucking dark.
yes, it is. I didn't play that. I did not play that game. We'll see.
Sweet Tooth
We'll
story
see how-
ends with him getting buried with his daughter, who he spends the entire game like his wish is to be with his daughter because he didn't get to murder her years ago. He murdered his whole family, but his daughter got away. But then it turned out that his daughter, I think she committed suicide because of the psychological trauma. And so then Calypso teleports him into her coffin.
Well, it's nice that they got to be together. However, to talk about the trailer some more, I was under the impression that Samoa Joe would be playing Sweet Tooth for body and voice. But that is not the case. Because
He's not doing the voice?
No, it's Will Arnett? I think.
What?
It's somebody else. Somebody else is playing the voice of Sweet Tooth while Samoa Joe plays the body of Sweet Tooth.
Is that a Saturday Night Live guy?
I don't think so. I am
No?
looking and I want to see.
Maybe I'm mistaken.
But yes, I was like that.
No, Arrested Development. That's what I know him.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it? I don't know if it is Will Arnett. I just
The
That-
BoJack horse person.
But yes, I was like, that is not Samoa Joe's voice. That was
That is Will Arnett.
okay. I was correct that it was Will Arnett.
Fascinating.
I don't know why they did that. Like, you would think Samoa Joe can talk. Like,
That certainly is a decision. Like, you can make that decision.
I guess. I don't know why. It's got easy.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
I
But-
don't understand. Agent Stone. Why
Yeah.
is Agent Stone in there?
I don't know.
John Doe. I know that John Doe's in there because that's who Sweet Tooth is there with, and that doesn't make any sense either.
I'm gonna watch it all. You know I'm gonna watch it all. It's just
Talkative milkman with amnesia.
that's yep. We're gonna move on. We're gonna move on to the next thing. Okay, Aroa, you care about this. I always want to skip pretty much all of the Apple stuff and just get to the new stuff. Is there anything before the stupid shit we have to talk about it that you want to mention about the Apple showcase? Is there anything other than the major thing we have to talk about?
You mean the 15-inch MacBook Air? I mean, I don't think it's that important, but if you really want to focus,
Yeah, that's
No,
what
we
I
don't
was
wanna talk
thinking.
about
no, it's
There's a new MacBook Air. The
the new Mac Pro's pretty cool.
The Mac Pro is going to use an M2 Ultra chip. It has like 6 PCIe slots, but
Yeah,
can't hook up any graphics cards to it. Can't use discrete graphics with it.
you can't.
No.
Oh,
You might be able to use a Radeon, but you can't use
yeah, you
NVIDIA.
can't use Nvidia, at least not right now.
But I'm not sure if the M1,
Probably Apple will sell graphics cards that are compatible with it that you can put in there.
Yeah, I'm not sure that
Either
the
that
M2,
or they're purely for storage expansion.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the M2 Ultra chip can support discrete graphics cards.
I mean, it's just part of the PCI lane. Like,
Well,
It's-
yeah, but who knows? Who knows if they will be able to? But from what I've heard, they will not be able to. Which is
iOS
hilarious.
17 is just a big nothing burger of
Yeah.
an update. Trying to scroll through here. I didn't even watch the stuff about iPad OS because I don't have an iPad. You can finally have an external camera.
Ooh,
Isn't that cool? Wow,
Yeah.
it's almost a fucking laptop for the price of a laptop. New Mac OS has a game mode, just like in Windows. Apple seems to be making a really weird push for gaming, which is why like I wouldn't be surprised if there was a reveal that the new Mac Pro is going to support discrete graphics. Because
you know what I find hilarious. It happens like every 5 to 10 years. They're like, we're gonna invest in gaming, and they'll release like one line of graphics cards, and then just be like, nah, we're good. We don't give a shit.
New
Have
Mac
fun
OS
playing
also
Breakout.
they also have kind of some new stuff with the screen sharing API, kind of a lot like what Windows does. Like it's a lot of like, yeah, it's pretty cool, but it's not enough to sell you on a new Mac. Watch OS 10, it's more nothing. I didn't
And
even
that's
know
it.
that there was an Apple TV thing, but hey, now you can use a VPN on your Apple TV. Ain't that cool?
That's cool. You
Anyway.
know what really sucks? This is what we have to talk about. They are coming out with a headset. They're coming out with a VR or AR, VR/AR headset, I think.
Yeah, it's Windows Mixed Reality. It's that.
And it will allow you to do spatial computing. Oh my! And you said, I think, what you can run iPad apps basically in the VR headset.
Not even basically. iPad. The operating system. It's part of the same ecosystem that Mac OS and iPad OS are already in. So like in Mac OS, there are a lot of iPad apps that as long as the developer has whitelisted them, they're able to run on a Mac. And this is going to be exactly the same thing. It just has a lot of the same APIs that iPad OS and Mac OS have. So it'll be trivial to port an application over to the Vision Pro or Vision OS, however you want to look at it.
That's cool. Like it's it's made by Apple. And they're
it is.
they're smart.
I think it's going to be the only real differentiator between this and like Windows Mixed Reality or HoloLens.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say they're smart, right? So they're gonna have it like we've got the Index is like $1,000. You got the Quest is what $400 from Facebook. It's gonna be somewhere around there, right? Somewhere between $400 and $1,000 for this.
I would have expected 2,000.
Yeah.
Because
It's
you're looking at
Apple.
a $1,000 headset, and it has an M series processor, and I think it's an M2. So like it is a full featured CPU/GPU as far as that goes.
Battery life is
So
2 hours.
Battery life is 2 hours because fuck not. But it's I would have expected it to top out at most 2,500.
Starting at 3,500.
It's not even starting at like that's the SKU. There is one SKU currently.
Yeah.
Because it's
if you go to the website, it says starting at $34.99.
Oh, fascinating. So they're gonna. Oh, it's probably because you can buy you can already buy
Memory
accessories for it.
Either that, or you can get they'll release a version that has more capacity
Storage.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
for another
$1,000. I have read several articles on it so far. It seems to be an exciting prospect, but it's going to come down to whether or not people actually want to use the damn thing and whether or not developers will develop things for it. And that's where I think, unlike HoloLens, it has a chance. But I really think that it has more in common with Windows Mixed Reality. And that went absolutely nowhere.
So we also need to talk about the one feature that's really creepy.
Oh, the eyeballs?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is such an Apple feature, and I hate it a lot. And like,
let's tell the audience who may not have watched it, may not have read it.
So
the eyeballs thing.
So the Vision Pro headset, it is designed to look like it is a pair of goggles, so that you can see through the goggles see through the goggles to the person wearing them's face. But it is not a pair of transparent goggles. There is actually both a screen on the inside and a screen on the outside. And the screen on the outside, whenever you are using an application or otherwise an experience within the headset that would allow you to see the outside world, because as much as they would like to present it otherwise, this is just a VR headset. Whenever you're using an experience like that, it can replicate a sort of facsimile of your eyes, like just the part of your face that is covered by the goggles on a screen on the outside of the device.
Yeah, it's creepy.
And it looks really stupid, and there's no reason for it at all.
Yeah, because let's be fair, if you have people over at your house that you talk to, you're not going to own one of these. But
I've had conversations with people with my VR headset on, like and you just talk to them. Like, if there was fake eyes in front of that, I think that would just be immediately the only thing we could talk about.
It just makes the whole thing way more uncanny than it needs to be.
It's just, like I have a VR headset and somebody's talking to me, I will either just, continue talking. Like, I will just be playing the game while talking to them, or I will pause the game and take the headset off.
No way, man. You got to hit the home button twice and it goes into like the Virtual Boy style vision mode. Can you guys do that with your Oculus Rift?
I have the Rift. I think you can, but it's
you
really,
can. It's
not
really
weird.
Very good.
No, it's
Yeah.
not great at all, but I kind of love it. Like a
The
part of me actually,
index,
it's kind of dope.
with the index at least, and I think you could do this on the Vive. You can make it to where it's a camera pass through.
Yeah.
So you don't have you don't just have like virtual boy mode. You can have it to where it's the actual whatever the cameras are saying.
Yeah, but
which
the camera sucks.
oh
Cameras suck,
they
man.
do, but I'd rather have that honestly.
And to be fair to Apple, I think the outside cameras for the Apple Vision or whatever is going to be way better than the cameras in other
that's what
ones.
I was going to get into is that like that is kind of the entire concept behind this headset is that the cameras are high enough quality where you're not really going to be able to easily tell, at least from vision. Obviously, you're going to feel it on your head, but from vision, you're not going to necessarily be able to tell that you're even wearing a headset. It's supposed to pass through that well. And from the articles that I have read, it does an admirable job of that. It's just a little too dark. Like and that's just a problem with cameras is that unless you have absolutely optimal lighting, they're not going to get enough light in that time, especially in something that needs to be super low latency like this.
All right. We have spoken enough. It's weird. None of us are getting this. I mean, it's funny
No,
because we're at the point in our lives where I think Aroa, Connor, and I, if we wanted to, we could just say, yeah, we could buy something like this. But we're not stupid enough to do it.
I sort of secretly hope that I have a couple of people on my like client list who are big Apple supporters. I could see one of them being like, "I need this for work," and buying it and using it like twice, and then never using it again, and then it becomes something I can play with.
And then it mysteriously disappears.
And then it went into an IDF closet one day, and it was never seen again.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna move on to our last.
I'm just gonna put it out there. If I had $3,500, I could just throw away. I'd be buying the fuck out of this. I don't know what you're talking about.
I do
Oh,
not
okay.
have $3,500 I could throw away right now. You crazy?
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
I'm saying we can
Nathan.
make it happen. I'm not saying it's we have.
Maybe if I
throwaway
sold
money.
my car.
I don't know. I can make it happen.
What if
I
I
have
robbed a
I have
bank?
the money. I have the money, and
I
not
guess I
gonna
could
buy it.
I could like liquidate my retirement fund.
I just spent like $2,000 to go to Japan, so
I mean, making meth
did
in
that.
Space Station 13 is pretty easy. How hard could it be?
Yeah, in real life. We are going to move on to the last news stories. It's the Xbox game showcase and the Xbox game and Starfield showcase.
Uh-huh.
First things first. Let's ask Aroa, any of these stories that you wanted to talk about? Did you watch it?
Let me just skim
While you do
through
that,
here.
While you do that, I'm going to go to Connor and ask what games do you want to talk about? I know you had some stuff you wanted to mention.
What paydays do I want to talk about?
Yeah,
I gotta
what
bring
payday?
it up. I'm a resident bank robbing fan here. Payday 3 looks like it's gonna be great. I love everything that they showed as far as like actually showing gameplay footage. I want to grab someone and use them as a human shield already.
I saw that and I was like, "Oh, that looks so cool." I'm happy,
It's
like,
gonna be dope.
because that's not something you could do in Payday 2.
It's too complicated for that engine. Also, hopefully it'll just have a better engine. Like it certainly couldn't be worse. Every
It's
time it updates,
using
you gotta patch the whole ding dang thing.
And they
Yeah,
say
it's-
they're doing Unreal.
Unreal 5, I think.
That makes sense. That's what they should do.
Yeah. September 21st, 2023. So
And
I think I mentioned this. Well, yes, we'll do the and here in just a second. But I think I mentioned this last week. And I don't know if it was on here or if it was just in passing, like on my stream.
I think you said it on your stream.
But I had said I would be surprised if they had it out more than a few months. Like, I was like, it's probably going to be like, hey, Payday 3, it's coming in a couple of months. And it's coming in a couple of months. Pretty excited about that. I'm just going to uninstall Payday 2 and just wait for Payday 3, if that's cool with you.
We're getting about close to that time. I'll probably get a couple more rounds in before then.
Yeah.
I do want to reach out to my old heisting crew and just be like, one for the old times.
Yeah. And included with Game Pass.
Yeah. I wonder if it's going to be crossplay.
Oh, it's definitely going to be crossplay. On
Dude,
PC? Yeah, definitely.
I got people who only own Xboxes. Like they don't own a personal
Oh,
computer.
you mean
who I
I
would
thought
love to
you
play this with.
I thought you meant cross-play between Steam and Xbox or Microsoft on the PC. I thought you meant
Oh, I see
the
what you're saying. I
Game
mean,
Pass
yes, I
on
assume
PC.
that.
Okay,
If it's crossplay with consoles too, that'd be pretty dope though.
that would
At
be
least
that would be
PC and
awesome.
Xbox.
Yeah, that would
That's all
make
I'm
sense.
asking for.
That would make sense. I would like that as well. Included with Game Pass. So very excited about that because that means I don't have to pay anything extra for it that I'm not already paying. And that would be exciting. I'm gonna ask you, with all the new games that have been announced for Game Pass, because Connor doesn't have Game Pass.
I canceled mine.
Are you interested in getting Game Pass with all
Like,
the new games that are being announced for it?
Not even a little bit.
Okay. I see. For me, I buy so many games and I play so many games that Game Pass just makes sense to me. And part of my brain is like, why would you not have Game Pass?
Maybe if I had a console, an Xbox console, maybe I could see the benefit.
The
But
only thing
I'm on a computer and like I don't get to play video games as much anymore.
Yeah, if I had more than like 3 or 4 hours to play games during my day,
yeah,
like total, maybe. But
If I was a
don't.
streamer, I would
Yeah.
totally get into Game Pass.
I was also thinking that I know one way that would make Connor get Game Pass, and that is if they somehow made it available on Steam Deck. Like
That'd be a good start. That'd be a good push in the right direction.
You can get it working, but it's all through like xCloud or whatever. Like you can't just
so
install
you can't get it
games.
working.
Yeah, you can't get it working. So if they had some way, even if it was like a hacky way, like they do the Epic Game Store and the other GOG, like you can sideload it with the Heroic Launcher. If they found a way to do that with Game Pass, where you could actually download games and play them, I could see Connor being like, okay, fine, I'll do it, just so you could download games and play them from Game Pass on your Steam Deck.
I could see DRM for that being a big pain in the butt. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, you're not connected? All those games you have downloaded, you can't actually use any of them.
Mm-hmm. Did you see any game that you were interested in, Oroa?
No. Not really.
Nothing?
All of this just like, I don't know, it's just like either more of the same or there's no gameplay, so I don't really care.
Yeah,
lots of no gameplays.
There are lots.
Everyone already knew about Persona 3 Reload, like, and I am hyped about that.
It looks good.
But like everyone already knew about it. I don't give a shit about Star Wars. I like the Chinese room, like they're a cool developer, but there's no gameplay in this, and also like I'm gonna be honest, Amnesia and Everybody's Gone to the Rapture weren't that great. So yeah.
There's also one that I thought Connor might be interested in. I know he doesn't like Persona because of the awkward. It's kind of awkward with the stories sometimes. Like
kind of cringe.
Kind of cringe sometimes. But Persona 5 Tactica. Persona 5, but with tactics combat.
Like I'm not going to order like pre-order it, but if it's like I do love tactics games. If it's a solid game, I could overlook the anime-ness of it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But
I just wish that
they'd pre-order it.
I wish they'd stop making Persona 5 spin-offs.
It's like the Skyrim where they're just like, "Hey, they're making spin-offs and not just re-releasing the game over and over again."
I guess that there must be something about 5 that just has the biggest mass market appeal out of all of them.
It does. That's it. Personas 3 and 4 were critically acclaimed. I think they sold well, but then 5 was when everyone who was interested in 3 and 4 actually like bought Persona 5.
It was, as you just put it, the Skyrim of the Persona series.
Exactly. It's the one that took off.
The Fallout 3.
There is the Keanu Reeves showed up for a minute.
Something about that was so uncomfortable.
It
Like
really,
he was jittery.
there was a guy holding a gun off screen. It's like,
That's kind of what
do
it
it,
feels like.
Keanu. Say the
Like
lines.
he's talking about how much he loves playing the game when I know from other interviews he hasn't played the game.
No, he did not say that. He did not say that he loves playing the games. He said you guys are gonna love playing these
Oh,
games.
okay. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
whatever. We're separating hairs here. It seemed artificial, just a little bit.
It did. It did. But they announced the DLC Phantom Liberty for Cyberpunk 2077, and I'm withholding judgment. I mean, Cyberpunk 2077. I don't know if you know, it was a little disappointing at launch.
It's
I still-
fine now. It's
I still
fine.
I still had fun with it. I liked the story, but yeah, it was rough. It was rough
On
and it's fine
PC
now.
exclusively, it's fine.
I hear it runs okay on the Steam Deck actually. Not like
It ran
you know,
okay on Steam Deck actually. It was
amazing.
playable.
And then City Skylines 2, October
I was gonna
24th
bring
is
that
when
one
this
up.
comes out. Yeah,
I actually do look excited for that. It looks like it's going to be beautiful.
I thought it was going to be SimCity.
I
thought
wonder
that-
if they're going to sell all of the features piecemeal.
I have no idea.
Um,
It looked
Yeah,
nice.
because City
but-
Skylines, they've added a lot of shit that, like, probably should have been in the game originally as DLC.
Mhm.
So
It should've
hopefully
been
they
a
don't pull
mod.
Sims. A lot of it was mods.
I
And
just
then
wish
they
sim
just took the
games
feature.
could. I just wish sim games could be something other than DLC farms. Like, I
Yeah.
want to like Sims 4. That seems like a game that I should be able to casually play. But it's like $2,000 if you want to get all the content. It's
Yeah.
You know-
ridiculous.
You know that the City Skylines people are making their own Sims, though, right?
They are.
Mhm.
I think I got it on my my Steam, like my wish list. Are you talking about? Keep talking. I'll bring it up in a second.
But it, like it, the trailer is extremely bare bones, and they have very, very little in terms of progress in making the game itself. But they are touting the fuck out of it having extreme levels of mod support from the get go.
Interesting.
Just kind of as a big middle finger to Maxis and EA.
Yeah.
With all the rumors of Sims 5 not having like any mod support at all.
Another one I wanted to talk about, just briefly. There was no gameplay. It was just a 30-second trailer. Was the Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, just the sequel
yeah.
to Yakuza Like a Dragon. And
That was a very nice Austin Powers trailer they had.
yeah. Again, not much to talk about because there was no gameplay or anything, but I'm probably gonna play it because it looks, I like that game. I like Yakuza Like a Dragon, so hopefully Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth I will also like. There was a flight simulator update. Did you see that, Aroa?
I was going to talk about that too.
I saw it, but I just kind of scrolled past it because I was like, yeah, okay.
It's
More of the same.
well, no, not really. You
Oh
can,
yeah, there actually is a whole bunch of stuff now.
They're
Like
like-
it's got mini games now.
yeah.
Oh.
I called it Rescue
Oh.
Mission, but like it's got mini games where you can like put out fires and like plant
They added
crops and
gameplay to
shit.
it?
Yeah, they added gameplay
Yeah.
other than just flying around, and they added a ship from Dune apparently.
It's going to be DLC. It looks like where they didn't really specify, and it's either going to be great or awful. They have the Ornithopter, which is like a dragonfly styled drone ship.
Yeah,
And I don't know if you're just getting the ship or if they're also going to let you fly around in Arrakis or Arrakis, whatever, Dune World. If it's a generated sand planet you could fly around and like, do plane atrocities in, that's going to be awesome. If it's just the Ornithopter,
gonna be
that should just probably already be in the game. Like, why are you teasing that? Like, it's something worth getting excited over.
yes.
Are they going to add damage?
I don't know. I have no
They're gonna
idea.
make it to where I can crash the plane and it breaks into a bunch of tiny pieces,
That'd be really
and the
cool.
camera zooms out and it goes, "You're dead."
I have no idea. I just know that they added in like rescue missions and stuff like that, which I'm not
this
interested
looks
in.
cool.
I'm not interested
Watching the
in, but
trailer.
I thought that you would be interested in something like that because I know you didn't hate Flight Simulator.
No, I thought it was really cool. It's just I can't devote an entire hard drive to one game.
No, that's
Yeah,
true. That is
for real.
true. We've got the last one I just wanted to mention that looked pretty cool. Again, it doesn't have much or any gameplay in the trailer. It looks like there's a bit, but I think it's rendered gameplay and not actual gameplay. Clockwork Revolution looks
Yeah.
to be similar to like BioShock. I would be surprised if they didn't take a
They
lot
called it
of
an action
inspiration.
RPG.
Yeah.
So-
I'd almost compare it
yeah.
to like a Dishonored.
Dishonored, or I mean, they probably took inspiration from both. Let's be fair, and it looks good. I liked at the end it said "coming in due time," coming when it's done. which-
Coming eventually.
Yeah, hopefully it does get done. It actually looks pretty cool. Hopefully, it actually lives up to whatever hype they're trying to build. Apparently, they're trying to go with like. Your actions will shape the world. Like you can go
Oh
into the
boy,
past.
that's never been done before.
Yeah, but like you go into the past and you trigger different events that will, when you come back to the future, as it were, it will change that setting dramatically depending on what you do.
I never played Deathloop. Was that the main shtick of that game?
No, not
No.
really. No, that was everything reset.
Okay.
Yeah, that
And-
was taking the roguelite concept like to kind of a pretty hard extreme.
Yeah.
But it was pretty cool.
It was all right. What you had to do is you had to take out all of the, I forget what they were called, but they're bosses basically. You have to take out all the bosses in one run. If you aren't able to take them all out in one run, everything reset. That's what that was. We are going to talk
And-
about
And like part of therefore part of the like challenge of the game was gathering information and figuring out how to actually go about doing that in the first place and all that kind of like Outer Wilds,
Yeah, you're
which I
trying
think is
to,
a cool concept.
it's a puzzle game.
This
And
one's going to be more like Prince of Persia, Archibai of Time.
there was a Prince of Persia thing that was announced on a different one. However, we are going to talk about the big one. Connor watched a little bit of it. After the event, there was a Starfield Direct after the
actually
Xbox Direct. Oh, you had
I had
one
one I
more?
was going to bring up too. God damn it! Let me say something, Nathan.
I'm sorry.
Did y'all
He
watch
never
the trailer?
talks on here.
I got one I want to say and one I want to make fun of. Did y'all see the trailer for Fable? Which is to say the no gameplay close up on the guy from IT Cloud.
Yeah.
I
guy from
saw
IT
that there
Crowd,
was
yeah.
no gameplay and I didn't bother watching the trailer.
Why is it that I've been hearing about this Fable remake? It feels like for a couple of years now, and nobody seems to be able to show anything about it, like gameplay wise. That's such a bad sign.
Yeah. At least it wasn't Peter Molyneux.
You know,
I-
I'd almost rather it be maybe like just because then you know it's gonna have a little bit of that like homegrown hamminess to it.
I don't like Peter Molyneux. Not anymore. I
And
used to
I
used
also-
to give him a pass. What was the second one?
I also want to make fun of Overwatch 2, which
Oh yeah.
I have a feeling that trailer was starting to be made in a time when they had a PvE element to the game. and that's definitely not a thing anymore. Man, I feel so bad for Overwatch 2. It wants to be Disney so bad.
I wasn't impressed with the trailer, but I've been a little upset with the way that they're handling Overwatch 2 recently. And
It's upsetting.
they're adding in new heroes and content, and I think they are adding in new co-op modes or whatever, but they're not
were supposed
doing
to,
the
but they
story
canceled
modes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, no, I think they're doing the co-op or some of the co-op, but they're not doing the story modes that they were supposed to.
It's just going to be man versus machine, which,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I guess if that's what you could do, go for it.
Yeah, it's fine. It's a fine PvP game, I guess.
And while I have it up on my screen, that game I was talking about is Life by You by Colossal Games, off-brand Sims.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
the-
that
That'd be
was
great.
it.
Hopefully it will be good. Those aren't games that I tend to like, and I don't like The Sims, but I hear a lot of people like spending a lot of money in those games. I don't like around $2,000 on DLC. Now we are going to move on to Starfield. Did either of you watch the actual Starfield Direct that they did after
the first 3 minutes of
I've
it.
been asleep all day, bro.
Well, I didn't. You said you were waking up from a nap. Maybe you watched the Starfield Direct and then went and took a nap.
No, I don't give a shit. I'm gonna play it when it comes out either way.
It looks like they showed a lot of gameplay, and it looks really good. I don't know how well it's going to run. We'll discuss that in a couple of minutes as well. There were some interesting features that I noticed, and by notice that I mean they talked about. You've got building, so you can go to your different planets and you can actually build your bases up, kind of like Fallout 4. However, they have a top-down view now, so you're not just building
In first person.
in first person. You can actually like go into like top-down view and build like you would want to actually build in one of those games, which is nice.
So
Yes.
I'm kind of skimming through it. How do you feel about how the mouth movements look? Because I'm getting like hardcore Uncanny Valley vibes from this.
Yeah, I don't really care about that. I didn't really notice that much, but yeah,
It-
I mean any game.
They just look gross.
This far away from official release, that's not the sort of thing I would sweat too much.
I'm just saying, it's just
It's worth bringing
I
up for
saw.
sure.
Yeah.
That can make or break a game.
It can. I mean, obviously the best like mouth facial movement that they've ever had that I remember is LA Noire. Just because
Well,
they had like
Well, that
1,000
was-
cameras on somebody's face and then it bankrupted the studio.
Yeah, they were just videoing people talking and just pasted that on the front of the character, basically.
Yes. There was with the being able to build, you are also able to build and customize your ship.
That looks cool.
Which they said that you had like infinite amounts of customization, which I don't know about infinite, but you have a lot of customization. Somebody made a mech ship, which is just in the style of a mech, and then like the thrusters on the bottom, and they just blast it off, which looked ridiculous. One of the developers said that she would make them into like different animals. Like she had a platypus ship that she would fly around in, which was pretty neat. And I was just like, yeah, they're just gonna be a bunch of dicks. That's
Yeah.
that's all people are gonna make.
Yeah, that's usually what spaceships are anyway. They're just cocks.
Yeah.
Cocks are very aerodynamic,
Mm-hmm. So they're
which matters in space where there's air.
yes. Well, you have to land on planets. You have to get out of the.
You don't have to
atmosphere.
penetrate the planet.
Yes, you do. You have to penetrate the atmosphere. It's cool. You can add on like different like parts to the ship that like one's like a better grav drive so you can get further out in space. Different habitats so that you can have more like people on your ship, like companions that you can fly around with. It looks cool. Again, not sure how it's going to perform with all of these systems, but it does look cool. There was also,
No Man's Sky already exists, right?
I know, and so does Star Citizen, kind of.
No. and Elite Dangerous.
Mm-hmm. With this, you can also. They said you can blow up. You'll get into dogfights with people in space.
Can you blow up a whole planet?
I don't think you can do that, but you can
I
blow
want
up
to
other
blow up
ships.
a whole planet.
I don't think you can do that.
I want it to be like Spore and then blow up a whole planet.
No,
It was so fun in Spore.
you can blow up the ship. Trying to tell you this about this. You can blow up ships and just collect the scrap into your cargo bay, or you can decide to board other ships, take out the inhabitants of that ship, and then steal that ship and scrap it. And by steal, I mean you go back to your other ship, lock them together and then fly that ship to another planet and sell it, which
I
is
am
pretty
excited
cool.
for that. I want to be a space pirate.
Yeah, so you can be a space pirate. I would imagine, and I don't know, because they didn't talk about it, but I like the idea that, oh, hey, these guys have better, flight things than I have, or a better habitat than I do. It would be nice to be able to take some of that and put that in your inventory and then sell the rest.
They have such nice systems. Unfortunately, I have superior firepower.
Exactly. Or, better tactics. And by tactics, I mean ram my ship into their ship. So I'm pretty excited about it. Not, again, it's on Game Pass, which is nice for me because, again, I'm not paying any extra for it. And hopefully it's good. That's going to be releasing September 6th, 2023. 2 weeks before payday. And yeah, hopefully it is good. But we are going to talk one more thing. I don't know if it's going to run on Steam Deck because we are going to talk about the recommended and then the minimum requirements. The recommended requirements are, Windows 10 or 11. Processor, either a Ryzen 5 3600X or Intel i5 10600K, so the processor is pretty low spec. Like you don't really need that high of a processor to run this game. But they want you to have a 6800 XT or a GeForce RTX 2080 for the recommended specs. That's a pretty beefy graphics card for a new game. And I don't know. You also need 125 gigs of available space. And SSD is... Apparently an SSD is required. Not suggested, but required.
I'm not actually too surprised by that. I'm sort of surprised we've gone this long without that being a standard.
But I mean, SSDs are just so much better. For the minimum specs, Ryzen 5 2600X or an Intel Core i7 6800K, which is pretty low. That's, again, CPU doesn't seem to be utilized super heavily on this game. RAM for both recommended and minimum is 16 gigabytes of RAM. Graphics card for the minimum specs is either a Radeon RX 5700 or a GeForce 1070 Ti for minimum specs. The minimum spec is an 8 gig graphics card.
Yeah, because it's it's made to run on PS5 and Xbox Series.
That's true.
That's how standards work, man.
Yeah, I know. I still think that's, we had a 1070 until, you had a 1070 until not too long ago.
Yep, I was the last.
And that was still running games, and then now they're just like, aha, we have new hardware consoles that we can, utilize, and we're just gonna make all of these games unplayable.
They had new consoles to utilize like 5 years ago. It's time to...
I don't know how many other ways I could say that's the standard now to you, man. Like,
yeah.
I can get a hammer and we can nail this in more.
It's a pretty powerful graphics card, is what I'm saying. Yeah, so it'll be fun. I just hope it runs on Steam Deck. That'd be cool, because I know that's probably how Connor would prefer to play this game.
Without a doubt. I might experiment with streaming. Like, I know you could play Steam games on you could play it on your computer and then stream it, but maybe not a first-person shooter. That might not be the right call.
Depending on how fast your Wi-Fi is, I don't think it would be that much of a problem, especially since if it were like Battlefield where you're playing PvP, that might be a problem, but this is definitely going to have some aim assist and stuff on it for you, so I don't think it's going to be that big of an issue.
Too soon to tell.
Too soon to tell. We will know September 6th, 2023. And that's it. That's all the stuff we wanted to talk about. We didn't want to talk about everything that happened. There was also a PC game showcase, but none of us watched that.
Nothing of value is missed.
I'm going to probably take a look at it, and
we'll talk about it next week, maybe.
Probably not. I think is there another showcase happening next week? Is there too many? Are there too many showcases that happen in June?
Isn't there like a Ubisoft thing that's happening somewhere?
Oh yeah, probably.
Did that already happen? I don't know. I
They-
don't care.
I don't know.
They announced a couple Ubisoft games today as well. They announced the Star Wars game coming from Ubisoft, but there's no gameplay.
Don't make me yawn. I'll yawn, man.
So, we'll be back next week talking about some more video game and tech news. I want to thank you for being here, Aurora,
Yeah, mostly here.
and I would like to thank you for being here, Connor.
Video games.
And I've been your host, Nathan Reitspruth. We'll be back next week. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.